Happy Tuesday, guys. Today's home workout is a workout just to get you going, get that aerobic capacity working here for this workout. It's not meant to be too tough, more of kind of like a recovery from yesterday's wall balls as well. So workout today is EMOM 25. Every minute on the minute we're going to do one different movement with 5 different movements of this workout. 5 to 10 deadlifts for the first minute. Second minute, we're going 30 to 50 double unders. Third, 10 to 20 push-ups. Fourth, 10 to 15 box jump overs. And then fifth, 10 to 20 V-sits. Today, guys, again, as I mentioned before, just get yourself moving, really trying to work on that breathing and get it connected with our movement patterns. So pick a rep range where you're working for no more than 45 seconds. Give yourself about 15 seconds of transition between those movements. Deadlifts, 5 to 10 reps here, so if you can go on the heavier side, not so much that it's very challenging to do those reps, but you're getting a little bit challenged to really tighten up that core, keep the back flat when you're doing them. With the push-ups here, guys, and the V-sits, more of the body weight movement there, pick that range again that you can stay nice and consistent with your movement patterns. Not necessarily going to failure here. If you want to stick to 10s, do 5 and 5 in that minute and you're really consistent with that, stick to that for today. If you want a little bit more of a challenge for you, if you feel like that's too easy, feel free to add more reps as you go throughout the rounds. Feel it out like that. I'd rather you start lower and then increase your reps as you go in this workout. Same thing for the V-sits here, guys. In between the second and the fourth minute, just getting that aerobic system fired up. So box jump overs and those double unders to get yourself breathing a little bit heavier. After this EMOM, guys, we're gonna cool down with that glute stretch and frog stretch. So again, kind of continuing off yesterday's workout there. If you're sore, we got something good for you there, which is the glutes, guys. We're gonna stretch that out. Again, you can try any style there, and you can see what styles were used in the actual videos later on. And then a frog stretch to just really get that groin, open that up, that squatting position up there. After doing all that leg work yesterday. Hope you guys enjoyed today's workout and the afterburner. We'll see you guys next for the warm-up video. Alright, so for today's warm-up, we're going to start with an active lat stretch. So that means we're not just staying in a static position. We're trying to be moving a little bit in that position with the shoulder around, try to feel out the lats and activate the lats ideally. So for this lat stretch, guys, you can almost do this with any style of lat stretch. For this one, we're just going to do it off the floor, no equipment needed. Get on your knees there, then you're going to reach to the opposite corner of your body, so we're lengthening that one side of our body, especially the lats specifically. I like to push my hand over top of that hand there, kind of keep it anchored to the ground, and then pull my shoulder blade away from my hand, feeling that stretch, or kind of just leaning into it to lengthen that muscle. From there, to keep it active, I'm going to pull my shoulder blade in, pull my shoulder blade out, kind of work around in that position. Again, we don't want to stay static. We want to try to also activate the muscle a little bit for our movements today. Once you finish 90 seconds per side, we're going to go into our warm-up here with 3 rounds. And these are continuous rounds, so keep a running timer. Each interval is about 20 seconds, and we kind of want to move at a pace where we're kind of getting that heart rate up, feeling out the movements, and getting ourselves primed. So 20 seconds of the bottom of the single-legged deadlift hold with some flies continuously throughout that 20 seconds. So I'm not going to use any weights here. You can use weights if you like, keep them light. The hardest part is going to be the balance part of it, for holding for 20 seconds. So for that single-legged deadlift with the body weight, I'm going to keep that back leg straight. For the leg lift on the floor, the knee is slightly bent. I'm going to hinge over at the hips, come to a point where my back is flat, I feel balanced, and then I'm going to go for those flies for 20 seconds, really trying to activate that upper back as I do the flies, or as I hold that bottom of the single-legged deadlift. Doing that for one side for 20 seconds. Then the next 20 seconds, grab your PVC, your broomstick, any kind of straight object to kind of mimic this, and we're going to go for alternating Pvc Passengers with a lunge. So I'm going to get into my snatch width, so a nice wide grip so I can go through that full pass through. And as I'm doing that pass through, I'm going to lunge forward, lunge back in, and bring that PVC back in. And then I'm going to switch sides, same thing on the opposite side. So you're going to be doing reps for 20 seconds there. Once you finish that, we're going to go back to the bottom of the single-legged deadlift hold with the flies as we do that hold, but on the opposite side. So right side, again, hinge at the hips, come down, and then go for those flies for those 20 seconds. Once you finish that, guys, we're going to come down to the floor. Last 20 seconds here of hollow rocks. So we can start from our pike position. We're going to tighten up our core, so kind of make that banana shape with our body, at least with the upper back there. Tightening up the core, feet are together. I'm going to sit back, come off the ground, and I'm going to rock back and forth with control, hands by my side, or even overhead. You can bend your knees and hold it with your hands as well. We're really just trying to activate that core and find that coordination with the movement for the rest of the movements later on. So 3 rounds of that, continuous rounds, keep a running timer, 20 seconds of a different movement each time. And again, if you like, progress, make it a little more challenging as you go to your 3rd round there. That will be the warm-up for today. We'll see you guys next for the movement standards.
A single arm deadlift, we like to place that item in between the feet. So your deadlift width is going to be about where you squat. You can go a little bit wider if you want to get into that sumo stance. That's totally fine as well. And what I want you guys to think about here is we're going to think about that hip hinge. So I'm going to think about pushing that hip back and then drawing my hips down after that. You can see my shin is still perpendicular to the ground. So the difference if I was squatting is my shin would be going a little bit forward. I actually want to push that hip back a little bit, get my hip up in the air a little bit, and then I'm going to hold on to my object. Pushing with the legs, opening with that hip, we're going to push that hip back, and then lower the object again with those legs. I want you guys to squeeze your butt at the top, make sure the abs are tight. Sometimes when we squeeze our butt, we tend to overarch. Let's make sure we don't do that. Also notice how my head and neck stay nice and neutral. So when I'm at the bottom of that deadlift, I'm not looking straight, I'm not looking down, but I'm kind of looking just maybe a couple feet out in front of me. I want the top of my head to my tailbone to stay in a nice and straight line. If you guys have the mobility and you find it easier or a different type of challenge perhaps to stick to your normal deadlift position, so feet under that hip, and we're just going to keep that dumbbell or kettlebell outside the stance, it makes it a little bit trickier, but it might be a good challenge for you today to do that as long as you keep that back nice and flat. That's the most important part.
For those double unders, we have them. Let's work on those double unders today. If you're at that 30 range, for example, see if you can break them up into sets of 20, or if you want to try it, seeing if you can do bigger sets today. This is the great day to try and start, or a great workout to start doing that. If you don't have double unders, let's go single skips, or we can go for some running skips here, guys. Also, you can use that previous option from before, which is the double tap hop. So you're gonna keep the feet together, you're gonna jump up, double tap your sides for 60 reps total. With the push-ups here, guys, again, let's try and keep that nice tight hollow body, stay nice and straight the entire time. So with that said, let's not sag those hips, keep that butt tight, and then we're curling in that rib cage, keeping the abs tight. For the push-up here, I like to keep those elbow pits, or the inside elbow pits facing out in front of me. So I don't want them to face inwards. I like to keep them facing out in front, so that when I break at the elbows, I'm keeping my elbows already nice and tight to my body. So that's a good cue for yourself, especially also when you're coming up, you want to think about pointing those elbow pits back out again. So you guys can do your push-ups off those toes. You guys can do a push-up where you come down and then rock back up from the knees, then to the toes. It's kind of like a kipping push-up there. That's totally fine as long as you're keeping that core nice and tight. Last thing, you can also try going off those knees. Just one error I see sometimes with these knee push-ups, guys, is that we keep our hips bent and then come down our push-up like this. I want you to keep yourself nice and straight. So from your knees to your shoulders should be one straight line. Come all the way down and then back up again.
Box jump over. I'm gonna just set up. I'm just gonna use a ball. Notice how my ball is small here, guys. So if you have a small object, I want you guys to emphasize your jump. So instead of being close to it, maybe take a step back and try to hop over it. Okay, almost lost the balance there. So hop over it so you're working on that explosiveness in your jump. Okay, so again, hop over it from a distance, turn around, jump again.
The final move is the V-sit. Remember, guys, you can challenge yourselves with a weight between the heel, or you can do a toe to bar if you have a pull-up bar at home. So for the V-sit, first progression, you can just do a sit-up. So you can get an ab mat under your back or a towel, roll up a shirt, whatever. We're just gonna come all the way up, touch the shoes, come back down. You can use your arms. Those are a bit too easy for you. For 3, it's probably gonna be a bit too easy. You can switch to a jackknife. So in a jackknife, we start off in that hollow body position. The knees come in towards the chest. The V-sit is very similar, except now we're keeping our legs locked out and we're trying to bring our arms overhead and then bring the hands in towards the toes. If you don't touch the toes, that's okay. You're just gonna try to get as close as you can and you're gonna try to keep everything nice and straight.
All right, guys, we're here for the afterburner. Got my mat here to get ready for our stretches, so I'll meet you down there. Gonna come down to our glute stretch here. I'm gonna start from all fours. We're going to cross that one leg perpendicular to our body, kind of getting into that pigeon stretch. That back knee is gonna be close to the ankle. Then we're gonna sit our hips back and kind of fish around in that position, trying to stretch out this glute. So I'm gonna move back to the side, play around with it, see where I feel that stretch the most and kind of hang out in that position. Once you do 2 minutes on that one side, switch and do 2 minutes again on the opposite side, same position there, ankle close to the knee, sit back, kind of fish around until you feel that stretch. I feel it when I go out to the side more, so see if that works better for you, or you can play around going just further back. Once you finish 2 minutes per side, we're gonna go for 2 minutes in that frog stretch. So on our knees here, try to use something that's soft so it's easier on the knees, especially on the inside of the knees. We're gonna go wide with our knees there until we feel a stretch in our groin. And then from here, we're gonna push our hips back and you'll start to feel a stretch in those hip flexors, in that psoas muscle. Try to mess around with going back and then taking a break, go back until you feel that stretch. You can kind of twist that back a little bit in that position. See what feels best for you, trying to target that groin a little bit more with the frog stretch. So 2 minutes for both stretches today. Hope you guys enjoyed the workout and we'll see you guys tomorrow for the